Good morning, folks. It is Thursday morning, coming up for 11:15. Let's just take care of some formalities. Here is Tina. Tina girl, say hello to the peoples. Yeah. Okay, folks, I'm going to cook. Let's take a quick look. Here is my mise en place. Everything prepared and in its place. Here is a pan with some oil about to start burning, and I'm going to put my onion in. I've got onion, carrots and parsnip. Basically the carrots and parsnip are left over from Christmas, and well, I won't show you what they started like because they had a nice slimy crust of blackness on the outside before I peeled them and chopped them down, so we won't show that. Let me get my onions in. I'll need both hands because it's a big heavy chopping board, but I'll come right back to you momentarily and discuss what we're making and show you the some of the ingredients. Okay folks, here's Tina again. Hey babe. Here we go. Okay, let me tell you what we're cooking. I'm gonna do a chorizo and garbanzo curry. Probably a strange combination, but you know, it's what I've got. I don't often have meat laying around in the camp. So I've got my onions in, as I said. Tina girl, underfoot. I got my onions in. We're going to brown them. I want them with some good colour. I want them to caramelise. Then I'm going to add chorizo. Now, Chef Chickpea, who's the guy that I follow most closely when it comes to cooking, he has a few rules. Onion always number first, as he puts it. Onion always first, onion always number first, except when you have bacon. Now, I think he'd make an exception, and some other meats such as chorizo would take the place of bacon and go first normally. So always onion first, except when you've got bacon or maybe chorizo. But I took the decision because I want to caramelise the onions and get a good colour on them. I chose not to put the chorizo in too early, so that will follow a little later. And then it will be it'll be the chorizo next, then it'll be the carrots and parsnip, and then later it will be the garbanzos, or chickpeas, and also the some white beans. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use the full jar of each of these or maybe only half a jar of each. I don't know. I also haven't decided whether this is going to be a cream based curry or a tomato based. I haven't dug those bits out yet. So again, I broke Chef Jean-Pierre's rules. I haven't got my mise en place fully in place. I haven't got everything prepared and in place. I know that I've got these things. Sometimes it's just a question of digging them out. Definitely got tomatoes, tins, and tomato frito. I think it's fried and sifted tomato, or sieved tomato. Or I could go with more the cream, yogurt, and I've got powdered milk, so I could bulk it out with that. I also haven't decided what kind of stock to add, whether to go with a veg stock. Probably go with I could do a chicken stock with the chorizo is kind of pork based. Although they did used to make it with donkey. Originally just whatever meat they had to hand. It was a poor person's food back in the day, so things like donkeys and horses and stuff would get thrown in, I believe. I make no, other than commenting that it happened, I make no judgment. But it is mainly pork based nowadays, hopefully. So we'll see where we go from there, guys. I'm going to stir my onions momentarily. You can see a few carrots got in with it, but that's not a big deal. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit maybe and stir those around, see if we can't evaporate some of that liquid away, so that the onions can caramelise and fry properly rather than sit there and kind of boil in their own juices. The frying pan might have been a better option, but I've been doing a lot of chips, cooking a lot of potato fries this week, and the pans, the food would have come out with a potatoey kind of taste to it. And I also don't have enough water to spare to do a full clean of that particular pan. Getting low again, folks, getting low. I'm a tramp in a field, you know. It's just a case of managing as best I can. Some compromises along the way. Okay, folks, later. Join me on Sundays for TrampCast. It's the weekly look at the successes, the failures, the happenings in my life as a tramp, a homeless guy, a hobo, living in Torrevieja in Spain. Love to see you there, folks. Okay, Delta Mike, out. Okay, guys, hopefully you can see the onions are taking on a bit of colour. I'm going to give them maybe another 5 minutes, and then I'll add the chorizo. See you soon. Okay, folks, the wind's picking up a little bit, so I've had to adapt a little bit. I've put up a bit of a windbreak. The wind's mainly coming from kind of the north-ish, but there's a slight westerly to it, so to try and keep the flames going, I've put this fabric. I don't know what it is exactly. It's a big piece of like roof felt or maybe a really thick hard underlay. Not quite sure. I picked it up a few months ago. Now, my onions have got nice caramelization going. So now we're going to add the chorizo, if we can. There we go. In that goes. And I'm not quite sure what the score is with chorizo. It's already kind of cured. I don't know whether it's cooked or cured. So I don't think we'll get kind of the full-on kind of Maillard reaction that you get when you cook meats. I don't know, but we'll get that going. It'll add some nice flavours and colour to the mix. I'll leave it separate for now, and in a while I'll mix it all together with the onions and put the lid on in a little while. I think another 5 or so minutes, and I'll add the carrots and parsnip. Oh, I told you about the wind. Okay, folks, see you soon. Here she is, sitting peacefully in the shade. Hey, babe. Yeah, talk to the people. Okay, folks, see you soon. There's the chorizo and onion. Now, looking at that, I think that's made my decision about whether to go with cream or tomato. It's going to have to be tomato, isn't it, as the base. So let's get the carrots and parsnip added if we can. Oh, try and do it without spilling too much over the side. A little brush with the camera, phone. Okay, I'll give those a stir in. Sorry about the camera work, folks. Gonna give those 5 minutes, maybe 10. Then I'll add the beans and garbanzos, chickpeas, and a little while after that we'll add tomato and start adding spices. Okay, guys, it's been a few minutes. I've added the chickpeas and the white beans, complete with the water from in them. I see so many people rinsing chickpeas, washing away the water. In Spain, the aqua faba, as it's called, the liquid that the chickpeas and beans and things are cooked in, is it's kind of revered. It's sought after. You don't just rinse it away. You want that. You can actually use the aqua faba on its own as an egg white replacement for whisking and thickening up to make a kind of meringue type thing, or just for thickening foods. I see so many people rinse that away and then start adding thickening agents to their food. Seems ridiculous. Rinsing away kind of starches and then adding starches back in. So I'm just going to keep those in there. Now while I was getting those, my onions did get a little bit over caramelized, shall we say. That'll affect the flavour a little bit. Hopefully they're not overdone, because I didn't want them burnt, but a little bit of blackness adds to the sweetness. A little bit. Hopefully they're not overdone. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to add the tomatoes momentarily. So, and then I'll start spicing. So we'll see how that goes. Look at my hair. Coping with the wind, folks. Coping with the wind. Let's see how we go. Okay, later. Okay guys, it's been a couple of minutes. I'm about to add a couple of tins of tomatoes. I brought 3 out. I'm going to put 2 in now, and we'll see how I go. Give us a second. So ladyship. And here we are with the 2 tins. One here in my hand, one here on the ground. We're going to put them in here. Okay. That one's just chopped. This one's more a frito, tomato frito. I'll give me a minute. I'll rinse those out. Oh, that one's not got much in. I'll rinse this one out and add a little bit extra liquid here. I've brought out as well, looking at pastina, I brought out a few stock cubes and a couple of bits of spice. I've got a curry powder, a cumin curry powder, and what was the other one I found laying around? A little bit of ginger. Doesn't really, I don't know, we'll see. And I've got salt in the bag here. I don't have any pepper. I got a bag of all sorts of spices in there, like a shopping bag full of all sorts, but no pepper, except for the really strong stuff. Can't remember its name, but no, that would blow my head off. That's not going in here. Okay folks, see you soon. Well, okay guys, that's the tins rinsed. Let me just give you a quick look at that, and then I'll discuss something else. 2 tins rinsed out. I'm in the light. 2 tins rinsed out. Put a little bit of water in one, swirled it, passed it to the other, passed it back and forth a couple of times, and into the pot. Give it a stir in a minute. Now over here, if you were here in the early days, when a bloke called Damien first brought me a camp stove and I started making hot coffee, I always made 3. Drink the one, and then I had a kind of couple of like polystyrene cups, kind of a little bit insulated with lids. And I would drink the one, and by the time I drunk the one, the next one would be about the right temperature. By the time I drank that, the more insulated cup would be perfect. We're back to that kind of setup now. I did 3 cups. I'm about to get my my second cup. Here we go. Let me test how. Oh, I'll have to move my hand. Give us a second. Okay, let's see. Let's see how hot it is. It's been a while. That one's still warm. I think the other one will be hot still. This cup doesn't quite hold the heat as long. But I did. It's about an hour and a half since I made the coffee. So not doing bad. The other cup will be red hot still. So cheers. Catch you later. Oh, make sure it doesn't fall over. Okay folks, let's see about adding some flavourings to this now. It's about time. Here's the process. I'm going to put in, I've got some stock cubes. As I said, I've got ginger, cumin and curry powder. I'm going to put those in. I'm going to bring the whole thing up to not quite a boil, but somewhere approximating that. and then I'm going to turn it off for half an hour and let it just cook in its own heat, and then I'll come back out and turn it back on again later. Save a little bit of gas. I mean, I've got a good sized bottle. I won't say much more on that topic, but best not to waste it if I don't have to. So I'm going to get the flavourings in, I'm going to bring it up to temperature, and then I'm going to leave it a while just to sit in its own heat, and then I'll come back out and put the gas under it again. So let's do this. If I can hold the camera thusly, I'm right-handed, so I need, here's a stock cube going in. I might add a little bit of water as well to go with that. Okay, I can't really see where the camera's pointing. Oh, I messed with a bit there, didn't I? That's a bit near the flame for me to put my hand down there as well. Okay folks, first in, curry powder. Don't think it's focusing too well, but get low so it doesn't blow away. Okay, that's the curry powder. Interesting thing with these lids, on the I've had them a while. The plastic is kind of perishing. Oh, don't want to put too much of that in. That was a little bit of ginger. This one, look, the lid broke off. The lid broke off entirely. A little piece is snapped off, and then the lid broke off entirely. A little bit of cumin, not too much. And that's us done, I think. Let me just see whether I can snap the lid back on in some way. Yeah, maybe. Okay, a little bit of a. There we go. Let's see if we can get that bit of stock cube. Oh, got that bit. Tina girl, stop. What are we barking at? Hey babe, are we barking up? Yeah, we're barking at buses. She's saving me from the evils that are buses. At the top of the road there. Okay babe, shush. Tina, shush. Okay, back to this. Quick stir. Stir all those in. Bring up the food from the bottom. As I said, I might add a little bit more water. Got to be a little bit careful. I want it good and thick really, but I have added 3 stock cubes. I don't know whether it'll need salt or not yet. I'll save that until I taste later after it's cooked down a little bit, because the stock cubes tend to contain quite a lot of salt anyway. If I'd made my own stock, I would be adding salt, but oh, so far I'm not in a position to be making fancy stocks. Okay folks, like I said, I'm going to turn the heat up. Let me just do that now. Turn the heat up a little bit. I'm going to give it 10 minutes and then I'll turn it off. See, the wind's still getting to us, even though I'm facing the wind now, and that windbreak should be doing its job, but the flames are still getting caught by it. I guess it's eddies swirling around the tent, such as it is, if you can still call it a tent. Not sure about that. Look at this corner here, look, that's gone through now. Oh, I'll be needing more tarp. Any rain here is going to go straight in. I'll have to watch for that. I don't know. Okay folks, like I said, it'll be 10 minutes for me for this to get up to heat, 10 maybe 15 to get up to temperature, and then I'll come back to you and I'll switch it off for a while. Okay, here's her ladyship. Oh, she's stolen one of the tin cans, one of the tomato tins. Little bugger. That's not safe. Tina girl. Tina. Say hello to the nice people as well. I get that from you. That's naughty. And we put in the bin. Into the bin, not just near the bin. And push the metal. Put the metal inside. Okay folks, later. Okay folks, the wind's still blowing. According to the weather forecast, 30 kilometers an hour is the average speed. Gusts up to about 50 kilometers. So, you know. But over here, I turned the curry off a while ago. Maybe half an hour or so. Gonna give it a stir, and then I'm gonna leave it alone for now. Here's the plan. Yeah, look at that, it's still nice and hot. Here's the plan. When I'm ready for some, I'm gonna bring another pan out. Basically the pan that I eat from. Basically my eating bowl. I'm gonna cook a whole pan full of rice, which is about 2 cups in the pan that I'm talking about. When it's ready, I'll transfer half of that into the main pan here on one side, and I'll try and take a good portion of the curry to put on the other half of the rice that's left in my eating bowl, in my eating pan. And yeah, I should be able to make a good bowl of rice and curry, and I'll maybe have that mid to late afternoon, maybe late afternoon, and then I'll have a second portion tonight as it gets a bit cooler out here, just to fill my belly with some warm food. Okay folks, I mean we're more or less done. It's just the rice really. There was nothing there to cook really. The onions, obviously, onions, carrots, parsnips needed cooking. Everything else was already cooked. The tins of tomatoes obviously are cooked. The beans and the chickpeas, or garbanzo beans, whichever name you prefer for them, they're already cooked. It came out of jars already cooked, so it only needed, I don't know, I guess it only needed half an hour of cooking, but an hour of actual process because of browning the onions first, and the chorizo, and building from there. But that's it, more or less done. I'm just not quite hungry yet, so we'll wait for me to actually be hungry. Okay folks, when I prepare that later, I'll come back and show you, and then I'll give my opinion at the end, as I customarily do. Okay folks, let's hope this wind dies down soon. Alright, later. Okay folks, it's late afternoon, 5:15, and my pan of food is on and warming up. Just get my rag. I think that's bubbling away. Oh, a little bit too much. That's nice and warm. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so my curry is nice and warm and is off the stove. Now, this was the pan that I thought I was going to use to make the rice, but it's actually smaller than the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of my old pan for eating out of, which was somewhat larger. So this isn't big enough for making rice. So I'm going to use this one. I don't have a lid for it, but I've kind of made one out of foil, and it's got a bit of salt in. I'm going to put some rice and water into here. So I've got my rice over here. I've got a cup for measuring. This is all a bit cat-handed. Trying to do it left-handed while filming. So there's one. I think I'm gonna do 2 cups of rice, possibly 3, and roughly 1.5, maybe a little over 1.5 times as much water. Oh, the silver foil's trying to get away from me. Cat-handed, as I say. Well, it's all a little bit messy. There's 2. If I do 3 of these and 5 water, we'll be about right. 3 cups of rice. Let me get that away from that before it burns. Water. You'll need to leave me to do this. I'll need both hands for the water, folks. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay guys, here's my rice. As I said, it was 3 cups of rice. I've actually only put 4 cups of water in. Partly I'm short on water, and partly because of a bloke called Uncle Roger online. He says, use your finger. You put your finger on the top of the rice, and the water should be about at your first knuckle. It's there or thereabouts. So I thought I might get away with it based on the shape of the pan. So I'm gonna put the foil on. Tighten up that seam. I'll do that once it's on the stove. Whoa, I ripped it apart, look. Tighten up that join in the silver a little bit. And we'll go from there. Get that on. And let's give me a little while, 15 minutes or so, and we'll see where we're at. God, not looking my best, am I? At least the wind's died down, folks. The wind has died down. It'll probably come back a little bit later, but hey ho. Okay, it's her ladyship poking her nose in the bin. Stop it. Okay folks, back soon. Tina's just been barking at some passers-by. Bad girl. Okay folks, over here is my rice. Almost done. Just waiting for the last of the steam to evaporate away. A little bit of liquid left in the bottom. It's nice and fluffy. So in a moment I'll swap the pans back. I'll put the curry back on the hob just to make sure it's nice and hot, and I'll start plating up, plating into my bowl here, my pan for eating. I'll start transferring my rice and what have you in readiness. Okay, give it a moment. Don't want the rice to burn, but I want to dry it off a little bit more. Okay folks, the curry is done. The rice is likewise all ready, and I have taken the liberty of bowling up, plating up, dishing up, panning up, however you want to put it, a bed of rice with my chorizo and chickpea curry. Cooking in a field with a tramp. Okay folks, I will take this indoors. I'm going to eat it, and I will come back and tell you how it was. Okay, speak to you soon. Later. Okay folks, I got curry all around my mouth, in the beard. Tina's sat here waiting patiently. Let me tell you my thoughts first. I think the chorizo flavour in the curry clashes a little bit with the curry. Not an ideal combination, I don't think. Bacon or something would have just been a better, or chicken or anything else would have been a better combination. But I wanted some meat in my curry, and that was the meat that I had. I'm a tramp. I live in a field. I don't get to pick and choose too much. But it was hot, it was filling. I've still got a pan full of curry and 2/3 of a pan of rice, as you saw. But now, the part that Tina's waiting for, as is tradition with the channel. I haven't done a cookery video in a long time, I don't think, but if you've been here a while, you'll know that I always finish off by giving a little bit of the leftovers to her ladyship. Let's do that. Here she is. Here's the food. Here you go, babe. See if it gets the Tina seal of approval. I don't think there's ever been anything that didn't. She's tucking into that nicely. I'll just hold it in place for her, otherwise she'll end up chasing the pan around the field. Okay, give her privacy while she eats. Okay, folks, I think that means that he got the Tina seal of approval. So that was a chorizo and chickpea curry with onions, carrots, parsnip, white beans and chickpeas. And chorizo as well, obviously. And rice, obviously it's a rice dish, curry. And Tina, go. Here you go. You got the Tina seal of approval. Okay folks, my phone's power saving settings keep turning the camera off as I'm trying to do my outro. I was down to like 4% on the phone. I thought I'd get away with it, but it wouldn't let me. Okay, let's do this. So, from Tina, and from me, Delta Mike, out.